Very nice indeed for the knockout stages. Let's talk overall then about this evening before we get into specifics, hopefully hear from Ralf Rangnick and some of the players as well. Who impressed you both this evening? Who do you sort of feel came out of this with Ralf thinking, you're in my plans?
Mason Greenwood. Yeah, Mason's pretty special. You know, I think there's a lot of players out there that cost a lot of money out there, whether they're, you know, bought from other teams. Mason's through the academy, and he's probably the most talented one. So,
didn't we know all that already, though?
Ish, but, you know, Ralf gets to see him in a live setting, and then he gets to see him score a goal like that. He's one of the best natural finishers at the club. Can play in multiple positions. He's good on the ball. People always talk about his finishing, but Rio and I were saying his ability to use the ball, receive the ball, doesn't get enough credit. So
awareness.
I think he's going to be one of those that he'll be in the starting 11 soon.
Yeah, I don't think it's long. I mean, we can watch the goal here, and we spoke before about Jesse receiving the ball, but Matic's ball into him through the lines as a pass of a midfielder, fantastic ball. And to be fair, it's his movement. He drifts. It's not a massive bits of movement. It's just deft movements, and then bang, that finish. And we spoke during when we saw this happen. It's like I always liken him to someone like Van Persie. That's who his style is like. He receives it a lot like him. His movements like him. He's elusive. Doesn't really want to ever get pinned against a defender. You see here.
Luke does well, doesn't he? Get on the overlap.
Yep, he does. But I'd just like to take it back seriously. Just want to look at his movement again because Luke does great, yeah. But my eyes are only on one man at the moment, and it's him. Look at him here. He sees, he knows, his awareness of where he's in. He's not scoring from there.
No,
he's not scoring. It's not often you score when you're this far in front of the post. Watch his movements.
Just run it slow, run at half speed. Because he's surrounded by people, Jake.
Yeah.
You know, you think he can't score. He realises, right, it's not coming there. I'll just drop off.
Exactly then is that little movement to get himself a yard away from that defender who's doing well marking him, by the way. That defender's marking him very well.
He's at his near post, isn't he?
And do you see this as something you can teach young strikers, or is this an instinct?
No, he's learned over the years, but it's instinctive as well. He just knows where he needs to be. And he can feel that defender without even actually physically touching him. He can see him in his eye line, but also he can feel that he's probably too tight for me there to be able to score in this area here at the moment. It's probably too tight for me to score in this area here.
Yeah, because even if he gets a touch, it's going to go out. It's going to go up.
Yeah, so he puts the brakes on, checks out a little bit, gets that little yard of separation, and then it's down to instinctive, beautiful, clinical finishing. The kids, listen, I love him. There's not enough words for me to describe what I feel about this boy as a player, seriously, because he's a beautiful footballer. When he came into the team, everyone, like Owen said, everyone just spoke about his finishing because that is what you see straight away. But when you actually break his game down, he's so efficient in what he does, receiving the ball, his body angles, his movement to receive the ball. And what I like about him is very rarely you really see him get tackled. But a lot of the other players out there on that pitch got tackled today.
Yeah, turn the ball. There were a lot of turnover.
Turning the ball over. He's not like he's very elusive with the ball. He takes the ball away from defenders. He's got so much things that you can love about his game. Yes, there is stuff to work on. He's a young kid. That's inevitable. But this kid, the ceiling for this kid is so high. And I mean, we've got a few examples of his all-round play here. Even pressing. I've seen his stats in terms of sprints and high-intensity runs when he's on the pitch. He's not someone who shirks work. Wants to set the people up for other chances. But the kid, I think, what he could be, man. If he dedicates himself to the game like he is at the moment and continues and keeps that growing and takes the opportunities like he is at the moment, England are missing out at the moment because he can come in and add value to that team as well.
That's his gift. In those areas, he's calm. He never rushes. Most young kids, they receive the ball and they panic. They speed up in the moments where they shouldn't. Mason has a picture and he's always in control, which is quite rare. And he has a good awareness, as Reece said. He's always checking his shoulder, find little pockets. I mean, as a finisher, it's pretty special. But again, I'm with Rio. I think his overall game doesn't get enough credit. I think he can carry the ball, he can dribble. His awareness is good. But he'll want to play. Even though there's some world-class players here, he'll want to play.
Yeah, he won't be happy sitting on the bench. Since this new manager's come in, he hasn't started the game until tonight, and I'm sure he'll be sitting there going, well, why?
Yeah.
But his answer is where you want it to be, out there.
And the great thing for him is that if you take a look at the kind of players that Ralf Rangnick has signed and worked with over the years, he is the perfect profile for a Rangnick kind of player.
He's the thing is, if Ralf was going to buy him, it would have cost him a fortune.
Yeah.
You know, we see, Ahmad out there today, would they pay, 35, 40 mil, Mason is in the category almost, you know, the Phil Foden category in terms of, you know, how do you put a price on it? So, you know, look, he's a diamond, you know, and to go with, you know, Marcus and Cristiano and Cavani,
Sancho.
Pogba, Sancho, Bruno. I mean, Ralph has a lot of options that he can go and pick this team, and it's exciting.
And it's a good point, actually, about Pogba. Pogba, Varane still to come back from injury. There's good times ahead. Let's talk about something not quite so positive tonight, which was some of the elements of the defending. We can have a look at the equaliser now. Who out there this evening, this goal notwithstanding, do you think wasn't a great night for you, actually?
I don't think anyone other than Mason really gives Ralph something to think about. I think everyone else, there's elements of the game we say, oh, well done, but then there was elements where you thought that will probably go against you, and he's thinking in terms of an 11 to go in the Premier League this weekend or in the coming weeks. So, no, I think you can...
What about Wan-Bissaka? You said he'll have to fight to be in Ralph's plans. What did you think of him tonight?
Yeah, I just feel with Wan-Bissaka, I think he needs to work on his game with the ball a lot more, and I think that we spoke about it today. Fullbacks in today's games are controllers of the game. We've always been number 8s, midfielders in Premier League history, and we've watched football for years. Centre midfielders are the conductors. At the moment, the players who are getting majority of the most touches are the fullbacks. So you have to be good at receiving the ball and good at playing over various distances and adding different layers to your game. And I think that's where Wan-Bissaka, if you're talking about the top right-backs in the country, that's where he falls short in that department.
Yeah, everybody knows his attributes defensively, you know, and that, which is great. But, you know, to play, we said it before, you know, Reece James, Cancelo, Trent Alexander-Arnold, you know, they get you 10 assists. You know, he doesn't have to get United 10 assists, but you want him to get 5-ish and just put himself in a position where he's crossing the ball, where he's receiving in areas where he can create a bit more. You know, I think at times he looks a bit reluctant to maybe go up there, you know, and I think if he puts himself in those situations more and forms a partnership with Mason Greenwood, then I think there's, you know, he can get those numbers. Nobody's going to get Trent numbers because, you know, he's a bit of an alien. But
what is there for him is that you can see it. You know what you got to work on. So sometimes that's the hard part for people to identify, what do I need to work on? But it's there. It's clear for all to see. That's what the manager needs and what he wants. Right, how am I going to now go and enable myself to be able to execute in them situations? That comes with repetition. That comes with training on the training ground all the time and working off the pitch and going with the data people and seeing, well, how can I get better? Going with the coaches on a daily basis. How can I get better?
The thing is, Dallow's the opposite, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's a brilliant crosser of the ball, good at receiving the ball, but defensively, you know, he hasn't always been his best, although he was brilliant against Palace. And Wan-Bissaka's the opposite. So depending on what game it needs, you know, you can pick and choose. Wan-Bissaka always played under Ole, but I think with the way Ralph's going to play, you might see a bit more of Dallow because to get the crosses in for Cristiano.
OK, good to get your thoughts. We'll get the thoughts of the Manchester United interim boss when we come back. Imagine, I mean, all of us have got children that play football. What a moment for Robbie. We were almost in tears up here.
No, it's emotional. I mean, we could only imagine and dream of being able to kind of witness and be a part of something like that. So great for the family. And listen, all the hours and the travelling, you're like glorified Uber, black taxi drivers as parents, ferrying your kids around all over the country to see them play and to dream of a moment like this. This is phenomenal.
It's nice, though, because only really now, as parents, you realise that this is actually what your parents would have gone through when you guys were doing exactly the same.
Yeah, well, my son is 6 now, and he just started to get into it, and he loves football. And now to see him, I can just picture him kicking the ball in the back garden, learning all the little things now, and I can only imagine what it must be like to come to watch him play. I mean, I love his games now when he's 6. You know, sitting on the side with a bacon sandwich while some chase the ball. I can only imagine what it'd be like see him walk out there. So, pretty amazing for the Savage family.
Yeah. 6 teenagers coming on tonight for Manchester United. Charlie was just one of them. Let's talk about United and what happens in the near future, because if you look at their Premier League fixtures, I mean,
wow.
It's a beautiful run now for Ralph to get his teeth into, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the manager he could have handpicked and cherry-picked some games. I think these would have been exactly it. Yeah, because you look at that and you think, wow, there's not many there that you would frighten you or put you on the back foot. I think he's got to go into these thinking, wow, we can come out of this at Southampton. We should be in a really, really good position.
That is win. I mean, it should be
30 points?
Yeah, no, seriously.
You'd hope so. But if you based it on the performances that we've seen before disappointment, you would say, well, I don't know where there could be, I can see banana skins left, right and centre there.
Yeah, but look, Villa away, West Ham at home, come on, they're the 2 hardest games from 10. I mean, let's be honest. You know, if United, with the squad that they have, the player, you know, the depth and the experience, they should win all those games. And then you go into the fixtures. Then you got the Champions League knockout phases. You will have Ralph for 3 months. You know, they could be in a place where they could go attack and potentially win a trophy or something.
But you know, it's not as easy as that.
No, I know
you
it
look
isn't.
At fixtures like that. I used to do this as a player. You'd look 3 or 4 games down, you think, oh, we should be like 6 or whatever points clear or whatever. And all of a sudden, after the first game, you're thinking, wow, we dropped points there. So it changes quickly. The landscape can change so quick, but you've got to make sure that you just look after the next game.
Very good. I can see out of the corner of my eye a certain Ralph Rangnick has joined Des Kelly pitchside. So let's go straight to it live. Des, the floor is yours.
Thanks very much. Ralph, it was a Champions League game, but it was also a part experiment and an assessment of the squad. So how do you think it went?
I mean, I was fully aware before the game that with this team that we play today, they haven't played together, not only with regard to formation but also as a team. The first half hour, I think we did quite okay. We had a few unforced errors even in those first 30 minutes, but at least we had control on the game. I think we should have been minimum 2-0 up, if not 3-0 up. We had two great opportunities, one from Amat and the other one from Juan Mata. But we didn't score. We were a bit sloppy with those situations. We had a third one with Anthony Elanga in the second half. So we could have scored 3 or 4 goals. But obviously after we conceded the equalizer, we were not defending high enough, not proactive enough. And we could have also conceded 2 or 3 goals. So if in the end the final score would have been 3-3 or 4-3 to us, nobody could have complained against that. But as I said, also the good things, quite a few debuts. Debut for Tom Heaton, debut for quite a few youngsters, game time for players who desperately need game time. So in total, I wouldn't say happy, but it was okay.
A valuable experience then. You're looking for players to stake a claim. Mason Greenwood did that early on with a fantastic goal, didn't he?
Yes, but it was also good to see Luke Shaw back. Hopefully he can at least be a candidate for the Norwich game in the squad. Aaron got 2 knocks again, one on the wrist, another one on the knee, so we have to see how this will develop by Saturday. Yes, and as I said, it was an experiment. It was not an experiment. I did it on purpose because I also wanted to save the players and their energy for the game on Saturday against Norwich.
Sure. But you talked sort of about giving the ball away, though. Did you seem to lose possession a lot?
Yeah, what really was a little bit annoying was the way that we also gave the goal away, because we played too many balls into the first line of their pressing area, and this was also the case with the goal that we conceded. We could have cleared the ball easily, and whenever we played the ball into the second or third line, we were always dangerous, and that was really. I told them that before the game, but still they still played in that situation the ball. A 5-meter pass, and they were just waiting for that ball. It was more or less a pressing invitation that we sent.
It looks like you've learned a lot. Thank you very much, Ralph.
Thank you.
GV16 difference from Diego Dalot. The scout on my Man United fullback can offer fantastic value under Ralph Rangnick. The squad is tipping for low-owned players who could be set for breakout game weeks in Fantasy Premier League. Diego Dalot, the fullback, in owned by only 0.4% for managers of Manchester United. It had strips on Norwich City. Dalot was preferred to Iron One Bissaka in Rolf Rangnick's first match in change at home to Crystal Palace last week. The interim managers made an immediate impact as United won 1-0, earning the hosts their first home clean sheet of the season. Dalot's defensive works provide crucial with the right back winning 3 of the 4 ticks that help earn him 2 additional bonus points for a total of 8 points against the Eagles. Assistant punters. Rangnick's new formation could also lift that prospect further in fantasy. Man United's 4-2-2-2 sit-up requires for the fullback to push forward and after mid-man they are attacking.